Every hidden detail in the Infinity War. You're about to watch Avengers, Infinity War in a way you've never seen before. Marvel buried clues in the backgrounds, in the costumes, in 1-second dialogue lines, and even in the symbolism of every major scene. Details that foreshadowed the snap, details that hinted at who would survive, and details only hardcore fans ever noticed. This isn't just a movie, it's a coded message the MCU hid in plain sight. From hidden comic references to secret visual storytelling tricks, today we are exposing every hidden detail the directors never expected fans to decode. Before we start, like, share, and subscribe, because this breakdown is next level. Infinity War opens with one of the darkest scenes in the MCU, but hidden inside this chaos are details that quietly connect back to Thor, Ragnarok and foreshadow the end of the Infinity Saga. The wrecked Asgardian ship isn't just destruction, it mirrors the fall of Asgard from Ragnarok, symbolizing that Thor's people have no home left in any universe. In the background, you can spot the bodies of Asgardian warriors who survived Hela's attack, proving Thanos targeted the strongest first, hinting at his future precision during the snap. Loki's final line, "You will never be a god," isn't just defiance, it's a callback to Ragnarok's theme that true power comes from identity, not domination. It also predicts Thanos' downfall in Endgame, where his quest for godhood collapses. Heimdall's last act, using the Bifrost to send Hulk to Earth, is a silent message about cosmic balance. Heimdall represents connection between realms, and by saving Hulk, he ensures the Avengers receive the warning they need. Pay attention to the lighting. When Thanos speaks, the ship shifts into deeper purples and reds. This isn't random, Marvel uses these tones to signal Thanos' emotional calm. He isn't angry, he's certain, which makes the horror even more chilling. When Bruce Banner crash lands into the Sanctum, the conversation that follows is loaded with clues the audience didn't understand until after Endgame. Strange and Banner talk about Thanos' mission, but Strange's expression when Banner mentions the end of everything is the first hint that Strange already senses his future role. The ancient artifact behind them, barely in frame, is the Book of Cagliostro, a direct Marvel Comics reference tied to time manipulation, foreshadowing Strange's 14,605 future visions. Tony's destiny is hidden in a single line, "If Thanos needs all 6, why don't we just destroy the stone?" Strange replies with a cryptic answer about protecting the Time Stone at all costs. That moment sets the stage for Tony's sacrificial future. Strange already knows Tony is the one who must survive until the final timeline. Wong's warnings about universal collapse echo directly into Endgame's last battle. His line, "He's never failed," referring to Strange, becomes literal truth when Strange later orchestrates the only winning outcome. Even the camera work gives away the plan. Shots subtly center Strange, not Tony or Bruce, signaling he is the strategist of the entire Infinity Saga. Marvel hid it in plain sight, and almost nobody noticed. Spider-Man's entry in Infinity War is fast, funny, and heroic, but beneath the humor are hidden layers that foreshadow Peter's future and reflect his comic origins. When his Spidey sense triggers on the school bus, fans see the first clear MCU showcase of his Peter tingle. This isn't random. In the comics, Spider-Man's instincts are always tied to major cosmic threats. Marvel uses this scene to signal that Peter is spiritually connected to the universe in a way other heroes aren't. His homemade suit, though seen briefly, contains subtle details, mismatched lenses, exposed wiring, and cloth stitching that reflect classic Ditko designs. Stark's suit upgrade that appears moments later, the Iron Spider, includes moving mechanical plates, nanoweave patterns, and glowing accents hinting at battle modes we don't fully see until Endgame. These tech elements are straight from the comic arcs where Peter becomes a key member of the Avengers. In the background of the bus sequence, sharp-eyed viewers can spot posters referencing classic Spidey villains like Scorpion and Shocker, teasing future MCU confrontations. And when the Iron Spider suit wraps around Peter, the symbolism is strong. Tony is preparing Peter for war, but also foreshadowing the tragic responsibility that will eventually define him. The suit is both protection and destiny. Every Guardians moment in Infinity War is layered with cosmic storytelling, starting with the music choice, the Rubber Band Man. On the surface it's playful, but it hints at Gamera's impending fate. Rubber bands stretch until they snap, just like her relationship with Thanos. Inside the Milano, the set designers hide dozens of items referencing Guardians comics, alien artifacts, old weapons, and even a small model resembling the Mandate, a classic cosmic villain group. Drax delivers one of the most unexpected foreshadowing lines when he jokes about standing so still he becomes invisible. It seems comedic, but it parallels the Soul Stone's ability to erase beings from existence, hinting at his eventual dusting and Gamera's disappearance into the Soul World. Thanos calling Star-Lord "boy" is a direct reference to their dynamic in the comics, where Thanos sees Peter as a child unworthy of cosmic significance. Yet ironically, Peter becomes the emotional key to their defeat on Titan. The color palette on Nowhere is no accident either. Harsh reds and blacks dominate the environment, representing danger and corruption. These colors mirror the Soul Stone's emotional meaning: sacrifice, blood, and loss. Even in the background, Marvel quietly sets the tone for Gamera's tragedy long before it happens. The arrival at Nidavellir is packed with mythological symbolism and hidden clues about Stormbreaker's legendary purpose. The forge itself is carved with ancient Norse runes, some referencing real mythic tales where gods create weapons destined to reshape fate. These background symbols aren't random decoration, they signal that Stormbreaker is more than a weapon, it's a divine tool tied to destiny. Eitari's dialogue also hints at future MCU weapons when he mentions molds made for kings and killers, suggesting the Forge once crafted weapons that could rival Stormbreaker's power. The shape of Stormbreaker is a direct nod to Beta Ray Bill, the comic hero who first wielded a similar axe-hammer hybrid. Its split blade, thick handle, and asymmetrical form all match Bill's version, Marvel quietly acknowledging the character's future potential in the MCU. Thor's near-death scene, as he holds open the star's iris, carries heavy symbolism. He's literally bathed in starlight, mirroring the myth where gods must endure cosmic trials before gaining divine weapons. The starburst sequence foreshadows his endgame arc. Thor is a hero forged in pain, reborn through fire, yet destined to struggle with failure. The moment he survives the blast is the moment Marvel confirms Thor's role as a god burdened by destiny, not invincibility. Wakanda's preparation for battle is rich with cultural storytelling, visual foreshadowing, and clever MCU setup. Shuri's suit is accented with gold and deep blue, colors traditionally symbolizing wisdom and royalty in Wakandan culture. These tones foreshadow T'Challa's temporary absence after the snap, hinting Shuri may soon stand as the family's intellectual and emotional anchor. Banner's presence inside the Hulkbuster armor is also symbolic. The bulky design and mismatched scaling subtly represent Hulk's emotional shutdown. Banner is literally forcing himself into a role he's not built for. This foreshadows his endgame transformation into Smart Hulk, where he finally merges strength and identity instead of fighting himself. The Dora Milaje's armor features new markings inspired directly by vintage Black Panther comics. Triangular designs represent protection and unity, telling viewers the Dora will stand firm even when the world collapses around them. The Wakandan battlefield layout is not random either. The front lines form a crescent shape, mirroring the Panther goddess Bast's iconography. It visually reinforces the theme of divine protection over the land. And Okoye's subtle line, "When you said open Wakanda to the world, this is not what I imagined," becomes prophetic. It quietly warns that Wakanda's decision will have consequences, culminating in the tragedy of the snap mere minutes later. The Titan battle isn't just a fight, it's a masterclass in subtle storytelling. Throughout the sequence, Marvel visually teases strange 14,605 outcomes using repeating circular patterns in the environment. From shattered structures to swirling dust, everything mirrors the geometry of strange time portals, hinting that the entire battle is unfolding exactly as he foresaw. Tony's nanotech suit is another hidden playground of clues. Every time his armor shifts, we glimpse future weapon forms, like the energy blade that returns in Endgame, showing Tony is constantly evolving his tech for a larger destiny. Mantis' powers are explained through one nearly invisible gesture. When she touches Thanos, her antennae briefly flicker, revealing her emotional detection overload, a hint that Thanos' mind contains layers of trauma even she struggles to process. Peter Quill's emotional breakdown isn't sudden either. Earlier scenes subtly foreshadow it through camera lingering on Gamera's reactions to Thanos' name, showing her internal dread that Peter subconsciously picks up on. The camera choreography gives away the exact moment the universe lost. As soon as Peter strikes Thanos, the camera stops rotating with the heroes and locks onto Thanos' face. The shift is subtle but deliberate, cinematically declaring that this is the pivotal point where Strange's single winning outcome is sealed, and every other outcome collapses. Vision and Wanda's storyline in Infinity War is quietly one of the richest in symbolism. Wanda's magic constantly shifts in color, from soft crimson to deep scarlet, mirroring her emotional arc. Lighter shades appear when she heals or comforts Vision, while darker tones mark moments of fear or power loss, foreshadowing the chaos magic that later emerges in WandaVision. Vision's dialogue is equally prophetic. When he speaks about understanding what it means to feel, he is laying emotional groundwork for the future series, where Wanda recreates him from memory, emotion, and grief, exactly how he describes himself. Their hiding place in Scotland contains subtle comic nods, the billboards reference locations from classic Wanda and Vision storylines, and one shop window features a heart decal hinting at the domestic life Wanda later attempts to build in Westview. When Vision says, "It's all right," before Wanda destroys the Mind Stone, it isn't reassurance, it's acceptance. This line echoes the themes of self-sacrifice seen in the comics, where Vision frequently chooses logic and protection over his own existence. Wanda's costume evolves throughout the film, growing darker and more structured, symbolizing the tightening grip of fate. This visual progression foreshadows her transformation, not into a villain, but into someone shaped by unbearable loss. Their tragedy isn't an ending, it's the beginning of Wanda's true saga. The snap sequence is one of the most analyzed moments in film history, yet Marvel still hid dozens of microscopic details that reveal the cosmic rules behind Thanos' victory. The dusting patterns themselves show perfect cosmic balance. Characters closest to emotional centers of the story fade first: Bucky for Steve, T'Challa for Okoye, Groot for Rocket, symbolizing that the universe doesn't attack randomly, it attacks attachment. But some characters fade slower, and that's intentional. Spider-Man's prolonged dusting reflects his enhanced senses, he feels death coming before it reaches him. The speed of each dusting reveals the character's spiritual resistance. Wanda, for example, disappears almost instantly, drained from destroying the Mind Stone. Meanwhile, Mantis and Drax fade gradually, symbolizing their deeper cosmic connection through the Guardians. Where the survivors stand is also symbolic. Steve remains upright at the center of the frame, representing leadership. Rocket is left alone, isolated exactly like he began in Guardians 1. Okoye collapses into a kneel, echoing Wakanda's cultural posture of grief and burden. Thanos' final scene, sitting in peace at his farm, is a direct recreation of the famous 1991 Infinity Gauntlet comic panel. The same silhouette, the same sunrise, the same quiet triumph. Marvel didn't just mimic the moment, they canonized it. Finally, every clue in this ending reinforces the same truth: Infinity War was always strange timeline. The chaos, the losses, the survivors, it all aligns with his single winning vision. The aftermath isn't defeat. It's setup.